Hey everybody, I don't know about you, but I really enjoy the sound of my own voice. So, what better way to enjoy the sound of my own voice than doing what I love even more than listening to the sound of my own voice, which is listening to the sound of my own voice when it's talking about beer. So, we got another beer for you today. One of these beers, it's a great beer. I think it kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes. People that drink it like it, but just for some reason, I don't think we talk about it nearly enough. And that is the Lookout Pale Ale from the fine folks at Logboat Brewing out of Columbia, Missouri. If you were familiar with our owner, Sean, I know this is one of his favorite beers, and he kind of has the same reaction I do, where every time he drinks it, he always goes, "Why don't more people talk about this beer?" So this is we call it American Pale Ale, and anytime you see American Pale Ale, that was kind of originally put on there because at the time, think about me 10 or so years ago, when a lot of us got into craft beer, when craft beer really started exploding, at least in the Midwest, your pale ales that existed were generally on the English side, so a little bit maltier, a little lower in alcohol, and your hops that are on there were just these very sort of kind of pleasant sort of bitterness. There's nothing aggressive about it. These sort of really easy drinking session beers, 4 or 5% alcohol. And then now when we say pale ale, at least in the States, we almost immediately think American Pale Ale or APA, which generally when you hear APA, just think a little bit hoppier, not a little bit hoppier, sometimes way hoppier than your English Pale Ale predecessors. A little more alcohol, kind of, up to 6% now. I think this guy is what, I could find it on here. This guy's like 5.5. I'm spilling it on myself right now like an idiot. But yeah, that's all APA means really. So just basically an IPA, but just take it a step down. So let's pour this guy. So obviously one of the features of a good APA or American Pale Ale, obviously hops are going to play a big role in this beer, and this beer is classic American hops in this beer. So Cascade is that sort of resiny, piney hop. If you ever had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, that's sort of the beer that made Cascade popular. And then it's got Nugget. Nugget is sort of for a kind of pleasant, mellow bitterness. And then there's something in here called Falconer's Flight. Falconer's Flight is what you call a blend of hops, or proprietary blend of hops. So a lot of people don't know that most times hops are used in beer nowadays. They are not putting the whole cones in there. The hops are what you call pelletized, which is they're ground up into a powder and made into little pellets that kind of look like rabbit food. And Falconer's Flight is essentially a mix of hops that are ground up into powder and made into a pellet. There's anywhere up to 7 different hops. All your classic hops grown in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of hops that start with a C, like Columbus, Cascade as well. Things like Chinook, Citra, and other stuff. So beer pours are really pretty, really pleasant color, just like a nice sort of golden, orangey hue sort of thing. Hits every sort of hallmark of American hops. So you do have some of that sort of classic pine in the nose that you get from the Cascade, but it also kind of goes all over the place with your fruit. I mean, you get some pineapple, definitely get some grapefruit peel, get some orange juice as well. Just sort of very unassuming beer that's got a lot more going on than I think people give it credit for. Same thing as on the palate. It's all those flavors I had just sort of go up and down your tongue, which is really, really fun. The beer finishes really nice, and I want to say crisp, but I don't want to necessarily say dry. This is a really, really good drinkable beer. This would be a great beer to have with a cheeseburger or chicken wings. There's just enough hops in here to sort of pull out some of the heat on those chicken wings, or sort of cut through the fat of a fried chicken. Or maybe if you're dipping it in ranch or blue cheese, or get fries on the side like me. This would be a great beer to pair with that. Anytime a classic American Pale Ale is pretty much the ultimate chicken wing beer, in case you're ever curious about it. But no, this is a beer for some reason gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, and it's an absolutely wonderful beer. One of my, if not, I mean, like my second favorite beer that Logboat makes. So next time you're out at an ITAP, see if we got some Logboat kicking around. And if we do, see if we got Lookout specifically. That's a beer I think you will enjoy. It's very approachable. If you're moved for hops, but not necessarily wanting a bigger IPA, grab a look out at this beer. Oh, that was lame. Sorry. Cheers. Bye.